Have you ever really stopped to think about it? How the energy from our sun, a star 93 million miles away, somehow ends up powering the very thoughts you're having right now? Well, today we're going to trace that incredible journey, all the way from a ray of sunlight down to the tiny chemical reactions that literally fuel our every move. Let's dive in. It seriously sounds like something out of science fiction, doesn't it? But it's the fundamental reality of life here on Earth. This whole question is the heart of a field called bioenergetics, which is just a fancy way of saying the study of how energy flows through living things. And the answer, you probably guessed it, all starts with the sun. You know, when you look at the big picture, it's a really beautiful, simple system. The sun's our ultimate powerhouse. Plants, through this amazing process called photosynthesis, are the ones that actually capture that solar energy and turn it into chemical energy, basically sugars. Then herbivores come along and eat the plants, carnivores eat the herbivores, and, eventually decomposers recycle everybody. It's just one massive planet-wide energy transfer. But that's the 10,000-foot view. To really get how that sunlight powers your brain, we need to zoom in. And I mean way, way in. All the way down to the level of your individual cells. Okay, so inside every single one of your trillions of cells, there's this constant, chaotic-looking storm of chemical reactions happening every second. This entire collection of reactions, all the ones that release energy and all the ones that use energy, that whole shebang is what we call a cell's metabolism. It is quite literally the engine room of life. So what's this engine room actually doing? Well, metabolism isn't just one thing. It's this constant, really delicate balancing act between two forces that are complete opposites, but are both absolutely essential, building stuff up and breaking stuff down. Think of it like this. You've got anabolic pathways. These are your builders. They take simple little molecules and, using energy, they assemble them into big complex ones, kind of like building a brick wall from a pile of individual bricks. On the flip side, you have catabolic pathways. These are your demolition crew. They take big, complex molecules, like the food you ate for lunch, and break them down to release all that stored up energy. It's this constant cycle. Build up, break down. All right, let's make this a little more concrete. We can use the most classic example there is, the metabolism of a simple sugar, glucose. It's just the perfect way to see these two pathways in action. So this right here, this is the ultimate building up or anabolic reaction. Plants are incredible chemists. They take super simple ingredients, carbon dioxide from the air, water from the ground, and they use energy from sunlight to forge them into this complex, energy-packed molecule, glucose. This chemical reaction is literally how solar energy gets locked into a physical thing we can use. And this is what happens inside our cells. We take that glucose molecule, we combine it with the oxygen we breathe, and we break it right back down into carbon dioxide and water. Now look closely. Does that look familiar? It's the exact reverse of photosynthesis. The entire point of this breaking down or catabolic reaction is to finally release the energy that the plant so carefully stored in the first place. Okay, so we've released the energy. Great. But what does that actually mean inside a cell? It's not like there are just little explosions of heat powering things. That would be chaotic. The energy has to be captured, stored, and made available in a really specific, usable form. So, how do cells pull that off? They do it with this one remarkable little molecule. I want you to think of it this way. If energy is what makes the economy of a cell work, then this molecule is the cash. It's the currency that pays for almost everything. And it's universal for pretty much all life we know of. And here it is, meet ATP, short for adenosine triphosphate. Just like you use dollars to buy things at the store, your cells use ATP to pay for immediate work. We're talking about everything from contracting a muscle, to firing a neuron, to building a new protein. That energy we released from breaking down glucose, its main job is to get harvested and used to make a bunch of ATP. And here's the really mind-blowing part. This process is incredibly efficient. Breaking down just one single molecule of glucose can generate somewhere between 36 and 38 molecules of ATP. I mean, think about that. It's like investing $1 and getting back 38. That's the amazing energy payoff that powers all the work of being alive. Okay, so let's zoom back out for a second. The fact that your cells and a squirrel's cells and the cells in an oak tree are all using these same fundamental chemical tricks to manage energy, well, that's no accident. It tells us something really profound about the history of life itself. See, this system didn't just appear overnight. It evolved over billions of years. The earliest life on Earth lived in a world with no oxygen, so it had to use really inefficient methods to get energy. But then, about 2.5 billion years ago, a total game changer evolved: photosynthesis. This started pumping our atmosphere full of oxygen, and that change paved the way for the super efficient energy harvesting we use today: cellular respiration. And this gets to the core idea, the big conclusion. The very fact that these essential energy pathways are shared across all the different branches of life is really powerful evidence that all of us, you, me, the trees outside, the bacteria in the soil, we all evolved from a common ancestor who figured out this fundamental chemical trick billions of years ago. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the organism is. It could be a microbe living next to a deep sea volcanic vent or a massive blue whale. The underlying principle is exactly the same. They all have to find a way to harvest energy from their environment and convert it into ATP to power the business of living. So, what does this all tell us? That journey from sun to a chemical bond in a plant to that bond being broken in our cells to create the ATP that powers a single thought, it's incredible. And that exact same process, using that exact same energy currency, is happening right now in nearly every living thing on this planet. It's a chemical thread that connects all of us in one long, amazing, shared story.